Hi friends, my name is Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year everybody. I hope that you all had fun celebrating the new year, saying goodbye to 2020 and hello to 2021. I had a pretty uneventful evening. We just stayed home and watched the ball drop together as a family and it was fine. So I'm looking forward to this year. I'm excited to see what it brings, not only for the channel, but just in life in general. I have high hopes for 2021 and I am trying to be an optimist about this year. So I hope that this year brings you all lots of happiness, peace, and joy. So today I'm going to just be quickly talking about my Winterween and January TBR for this month. For those of you who don't know, Winterween is a read-along challenge that is put on by two of my favorite booktubers. We've got Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte and Gabby from Gabby Reads. They did Summerween, which was reading creepy books in the summer, and then of course we had the Halloween season, and then they had so much success with Summerween that they decided to do Winterween, and it's basically just an excuse to read creepy books or thrillers, anything that is sort of in the theme of October or in the theme of just fall time. So I've chosen to participate this year, so I just want to go over the prompts with you because these are going to be included in my January TBR as well. So prompt 1 is to read a book with haunt in the title. For this book I'm going to be taking advantage of the buddy read, which is The Haunting of Bryn Wilder by Wendy Webb. I didn't have the physical copy of this book and I just thought I would get it on Kindle. I actually got the audio book and I've been pleasantly surprised so far. I'm about halfway through and I'll go ahead and try to insert the cover here for you since I don't have it. So I just want to tell you a little bit about the book and then we're going to move on. So we're following Bryn Wilder, who after the death of her mother decides to take a sabbatical from life. She needs to get away, and so she goes to a town called Wharton next to Lake Superior. And she checks herself into a boarding house, a nice little quaint place for her to stay and kind of check out of life and just take a rest and get some much needed relaxation and sort through some of the things going on in her life. She's welcomed with open arms by a lot of the return customers who come and stay every summer. She finds them to be really friendly and a great distraction from her real life. The people who are staying there are quite interesting. While there, she encounters a lady named Alice who happens to be suffering from Alzheimer's. While also suffering from some of the classic Alzheimer's symptoms, she also seems to have some vivid glimpses into the past and future for herself and for others. And so at times she will say something quite odd and strange like, "Oh, I'm going to die soon," or "That's the love of your life," things that would completely take you off guard. We are also following Bryn with this man who is referred to as the Illustrated Man. His name is Dominic and he is also one of the lodgers at the inn, and he is there trying to do the same thing, it seems, to escape his life, and he ends up getting quite close to Bryn. While growing close to the lodgers of this inn, she also finds out that during the previous winter, someone had broken into the inn and stayed there without anyone's knowledge. It was an older lady and she actually ended up dying in one of the rooms. So she finds that to be quite creepy and she's actually investigating some of the details. She wants to find out more. Like I said, I'm about 50% through this book and so far I'm liking it. It's not exactly what I thought it would be. I really expected it to kind of be more on the creepy side. So far it's just unsettling. There are some things that are happening that are slightly creepy, but not in a I can't sleep at night kind of a way. This also covers another prompt for Winterween for me, and that is reading it in the dark. As I said, I have it on audiobook, so I put it on before bed and I turned the lights down. So I have had a few instances where it's a little bit creepy because you add that atmosphere into it. But like I said, nothing overwhelming, nothing super horror-like so far. Like I said, I'm only like 50–60% of the way through, so I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Okay, the next book on my list is Stephen King, The Body. I chose this for the prompt, 2 prompts. I'm trying to put them together because I can't have a super long TBR for January. So this covers 2 prompts as well. This is a blue cover, which is one of the prompts, and it is also a novella. It is not very long. It is, let me see, 180 pages. So I'm looking forward to reading this because I don't know if I've ever read Stephen King before. I really don't think that I have. And I feel like this would be a good entry point for me because it's short. Hopefully it's not too creepy, and I can just ease my way into Stephen King. All I know about this book is that it may be a horror / coming of age story. I think we follow a few young boys who are searching for a body. I don't know much beyond that. I don't want to know anything else beyond that, but looking forward to reading this and letting you know what I think. So with those 2 books, I've covered 4 of the prompts for Winterween. Like I said, I'm combining. I'm doing my best to make the TBR kind of as short as I can so that I can still read some other books this month. To cover the last prompt, which is a winter setting, I chose The Nothing Man by Catherine Ryan Howard. This book is recommended by Gabby. She loved it. For her tier ranking video, this made the tier just before the top. She said it was a great book, so I'm looking forward to reading it. We follow a young woman who is a survivor of a serial killer. When she was young, this serial killer came through and essentially murdered her whole family. She was the sole survivor. The serial killer was coined the name The Nothing Man. This book is following her as an adult. She is doing some research into trying to figure out who the Nothing Man is, to kind of heal from her own wounds and to bring him to justice. At the same time, we follow a man who works at a supermarket. He seems to be following the reports of the Nothing Man, and as he is reading and taking in all of this research, he becomes increasingly upset at the details that she's giving. And the reason is because he happens to be the Nothing Man, and she's getting some things wrong. It's frustrating him. Not only that, but he's realizing that she's getting closer and closer to finding out the truth of who he is. So naturally, he's got to find her to put a stop to it. And so this seems to be like it's going to have a lot of creepy vibes, so I'm into it. The other few books that I picked so far don't seem to be ultra creepy, so I'm kind of banking on this one for all the creepy feels. Like I said, that's the last book for the prompts for Winterween. Looking forward to reading all of them and letting you guys know what I think. Moving on to the rest of the books for my January TBR, I am reading Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemore, and I've actually almost finished with this book. If you watched my last video, I did mention that I wanted to read it for January because it is loosely themed around the time of New Year's Eve. That is when Una has her birthday every year, and every year on her birthday she jumps to another point in her life and gets to experience it out of order, hence the title. I'm about 70 pages from finishing this book. I am liking it. I'm enjoying it. I don't think, I mean, this is classified, I think, as like a sci-fi. I would say this is more leaning contemporary with like a touch of sci-fi in it, just because the sci-fi is not what we're focusing on. We're not trying to figure out why or how she's jumping to these different points in time in her life. It's kind of happening and she just is trying to roll with the punches. She's trying to navigate through all these different points in her life and sort of make the right decisions, and the heartache that comes with not having the continuity that we're all used to in living our life year to year. She's jumping back and forth. She can't have any meaningful relationship besides, you know, her mother, who happens to know about the jumping. But other than that, she can't form any real solid relationships, so that's what she, like, her biggest struggle is that she can't do that. And it's, you know, that's, she's dealing with the depression and the things that come with it. But she's also trying to find the joy in the little things that life still has to offer every year. So far I'm liking this. I will wrap up my thoughts at the end of the month. Okay, the next book I want to pick up is An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. I had this on my last video as part of my December haul. This is a fantasy book that is kind of inspired by ancient Rome, and we follow 2 characters, Laia and Elias, I think is how you say it. This is them kind of battling or coming up against the empirical rule. Essentially in this world, if you don't follow the emperor or serve him, then you are basically dead to everyone. So this is them rising up against the emperor in a roundabout sort of way through being a spy and sort of infiltrating the Emperor's military academy. So it sounds super interesting. It sounds like the two of these people will probably obviously come together, as this is a fantasy romance. There's probably a lot of details on this world. I love world building. I love a good magic system. I'm assuming there's magic. I hope so. So I'm looking forward to reading the first installment of this. This is book 1, and I believe there are 4. But yeah, I'm really excited to read it. Okay, the next book I want to read is one that Gabby is doing for her new book club called The Book Troop. And the book for January is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. This is a thriller book, and it is loosely based on Jane Eyre. Other than that, I don't know a whole lot, as I have not read Jane Eyre, so I'm looking forward to just kind of going into this blind. Because it's a thriller, I don't want to know anything. So excited to do this along with everybody else for her book club and to see everyone else's thoughts. I will let you know what I think. Okay, the last book on my TBR I chose because it is different. It was actually a recommendation that I picked up from Emily Fox's channel. She recommends a lot of sci-fi, and this was one she recommended and explained as being kind of a weird sci-fi, so that of course grabbed my attention because I love a good weird book. So I wanted to pick it up as long as I can get through the rest of my TBR. The book is The City and the City by China Mayville. Please excuse me if I'm not saying the name right. It's a fairly short book. This is just about a woman who is found murdered, and we are following the point of view of a detective who is trying to get to the bottom of it. But in the meantime, he falls into this strange world between cities and works with another detective in this other world to try to solve this murder, and they uncover, of course, underlying schemes and plots. And it just sounds like a weird, strange time with some murder mystery kind of tied into it, and that sounds like a good time to me. So looking forward to this one as well. As long as I can get through, I will let you know my thoughts if I do end up reading it. Alright guys, that's it for my Winterween and January TBR. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you guys want to see more, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping to make weekly content so that you guys can kind of keep up with me and what I'm reading and see what my thoughts are. Thank you to everyone who has commented, subscribed, or liked anything so far. I've really enjoyed getting to interact with all of you, and I hope that we can continue to do that. I hope you guys have a fantastic beginning of 2021 and that it carries throughout the whole year, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!